So, Mulaminaka, everyone. Firstly, we'd like to just thank ICN for having us come over to just share a bit on our story and to being here this morning. So it's a pretty, this presentation usually takes half an hour, but just try to narrow it down to the time that has been given to us. So for most of you who know what cChange is all about, we're a regional NGO based in Suva that focuses on strategic communications to create change. We call it change communications. This illustration that you see on the screen explains what we mean by that. People need information to act. Experts often tell us everything they know, what they've studied, to help us come to a decision. But many times our audiences are overwhelmed with the information that inundate them to make good decisions. What they need is just enough information to act. If you can't meaningfully engage people in simple dialogues with actionable solutions, change won't come. So this is what cChange is all about, and that's why we are here today. For those of you who may be familiar with the campaign that has been running in Fiji over the past for a number of years, the 5J campaign was launched back in 2014. The campaign was launched to revive the kaukau and dunu fisheries. We asked people to pledge to avoid these fish during their peak spawning months, and that's from June to September. The campaign received around 26,000 plus pledges. People stood up and took on the 5J pledge at one of our events or our partner events. These were the people that said that they would do their part to revive the kaukau and dunu in Fiji. They spread the message to their family and friends, and these are the people from all walks of life that turned the 5J campaign into the 5J movement. The message was simple: to let kaukau and dunu breed and have more later. As we did that, we asked local champions to step up, make their own pledges, share why it mattered to them. And the 5J is a homegrown campaign fueled by its local champions, sharing why it mattered to them or why it was important to them in taking on the pledge. And here was our first champion, the man himself, Waisele Serevi. Here are some of the early champions that helped launch the early part of the campaign. This person was a role model for different people groups or spheres of influence that they were part of. And they in turn asked those that are in their network about the campaign. So the campaign held pledge drives across the country at events such as the Hibiscus Festival, Mula Festival, agriculture shows. We conducted media outreaches on radio and through television programs and newspapers. And the campaign was also very active on social media. And we also, reached out to the private sector, local businesses, business networks, and organizations to represent the campaign. We also had our partners in the community. As you can see, those are our community people that really took on the campaign and spread the word. The Methodist Church in Fiji, among other religious organizations, joined in the campaign as well, and they took on the message to their networks and all its members. The tourism sector was behind it too. We had our stakeholders in government, really come behind the campaign. In particular, we just want to make special mention for the Ministry of Defense. They came on board, they approached us saying that food security is what is a matter of national security. Around that time in 2016, Ben Ryan and his men also supported the cause as well. As everyone knows, they went on to win the gold medal in Rio, and the message in them supporting it really, echoed, it amplified the campaign. We also had national supermarket chains like the New IG come on board in committing their suppliers to the cause. Thankful that Honorable Prime Minister, he also came around to one of our pledge stands and made a personal commitment. Just a snapshot of the 5J kaukau and dunu campaign. As I've already mentioned, but something that was worth to highlight here is that it gained a lot of momentum in public support for the legal ban. You can see the percentage there. Campaign also made people want to do more, or they're more supportive towards fishing regulations. For our Fijian audience, we all know that a national 4-month seasonal ban had come into play around 2018, and I think something that was that really harnessed the campaign on the ground was new partnerships with town councils and policemen. They conducted their own outreach to fish sellers and fishers. Now we came after the Kau and Donu campaign. There was the idea that came that we wanted to look at other fish out there. So we showed you what we can do together in the Kau and Donu. Now we need to start using more fish smart practices to ensure all our fish and critters thrive, and we have a bigger, better catches. So that's why we are here today. We launched this 4FJ Fish Smart campaign in last year. The Minister for Fisheries, Honorable Semi Korelabsau, had come to launch that campaign, and it's been running now since November, right up until today. So what is Fish Smart? At a community level, we are familiar with the tactics that I'm about to, that is on the slide. This is an LMMA toolbox. It means such things as establishing and respecting community tambo areas, as you can see on the slide, protecting breeding seasons and sites, avoiding undersized species. Fish Smart also means stopping harmful practices such as poison root fishing, nighttime scuba fishing, and small mesh size nets. Also establishing offshore fence to relieve pressure on nearshore reefs, engaging ways to reach all communities. So how will we do this? We are going to do this by creating a national talent on improving food security and livelihoods in Fiji. This will be done at different levels. So number one, we will be all over the media. As I've mentioned, when we launched in November, towards the tail end of November, we also introduced a radio talkback show in the Itauke lingo. It's called Ngoli Wakamatau. So to date, we have had 8 radio talkback shows. So every first and third Wednesday of the month. And this is where we get experts to talk about fisheries challenges, solutions. We also share the same stories with the news media, with features in the local dailies, and also we're partnering with communities and also on social media. We're also working on a 24-minute documentary that will highlight the stories on fish in communities, on fish smart practices. So we are bringing back the pledge board in this campaign. So much of what was done in is now that we're doing now with the 4FJ Fish Smart campaign is a replicate of what is done in the Kau and Dun, but just tweaking a bit of what the approach was then, and kept really capitalizing on the tools that we are wanting to really roll out there to our partners and to our communities. We are bringing back the pledge board. This time, to help the rest of the fish, we are asking everyone to avoid undersized fish, because as communities do the right thing, we want to make sure that a few bad actors don't prevent them from benefiting. So in urban areas, you can pledge. This is where our volunteers have been in urban areas over the past few months, with their pledge drives. We've also been part of a number of rugby tournaments. We see that as a platform in riding on. Rugby is, as we all know, is a big sport in Fiji, and this is where we hope to garner a lot of interest in that sphere. Number two, we also bring, sorry. Okay. The third is we will work to support direct outreach in our communities, ideally building local networks with government capacities as long-time drivers for change. These are some of the tools that have been developed for that work. Yeah, the fisheries booklet on your left on the screen there is an illustrated introduction to fisheries management. A PowerPoint presentation version is also been developed together with the flip chart. The booklet is cheap to print and can be given at every household in the village, so no one is left out or included discussion guides. We also have a fish banner at the fish at actual size with a call for communities to measure their catch and get healthy checks on their catches. We have found that fish size and catch competition is a powerful indicators for communities. With that, we have a fish ruler sticker and the booklet in helping communities with a measure to look at measuring their catches and the species of their concern. Finally, to add, we have videos of fisher interviews, animations that help spread the campaign cheaply and effectively through local people without the need for workshop. In addition, these tools and additional communication trainings will be offered to government agencies and outreach offices in particular fisheries to make sure that their teams can effectively support communities using these simple tools. But also with community champions, we have our social media page that have we're starting to populate with community champions, people of influence in our communities that help spread the word, and that means all our tools are out there so people can see. So the toolkit that you also see here are being developed as we go along, adding more tools for urgency, for actions, and for solutions. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what cChange specific and the 4FJ Fish Smart is about. As I said, it's a longer presentation, but I hope we've been able to capture that and just encourage some discussion in the group, and maybe sometime later we can be available to answer a number of your questions. Naka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolaitamana. Yes, two questions. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to answer. One is whether the ban for cow will be lifted. One of the participants is just wondering, due to COVID, I think some of the bans were lifted to be part of the COVID response. And the other one, which is kind of related to the previous session, the TTKWNI discussion on sustainable agriculture, is cChange thinking, can you also do similar, or are there any plans to do similar campaigns to address some of these big agricultural issues that we just heard from Mr. Das and TTKWNI? Okay,
Vinaka, Tika, I think for the bans in our Radio Talk Big Shows, we'd like to leave the Talano on bans for the appropriate authorities to maybe talk about that. Maybe fisheries, if someone from fisheries is available in the group today to maybe talk to us to elaborate more on that. And also for the campaign, for right now, we just focused on the 4FJ Fish Smart as we just started in November. But I'm sure if there's room for dialogue with our team and our leaders in how we can probably help one another in highlighting programs like the one that has been discussed previously. But yes, I'm sure there's room for dialogue in that aspect. Yeah?
Very much, Maciu. Thank you for the presentation. It's well noted. The participants are really just saying thank you for the good work that cChange is doing in the awareness, the Talanoa sessions that you're doing for Fish Smart, for raising awareness on the sustainable fisheries in Fiji. To everyone, we will take a short break. I'm not sure it's called a break, but our communications team, Epteli Nakaunitonga, will, if he could come and just facilitate I think he has some ideas how we can all turn on our camera and take a group photo. So thank you, Mr. Bolaitamana. If I can ask Epteli, and also you let us take a stretch, stand up, go and find a coffee or for the next 5 minutes. But before that, if Epteli could just take us through the photo shoot session. Very interesting on virtual photo shoot. Kelly?
Yeah, Bolaitamana, thank you, Etika, for that. So I'm going to ask everybody to turn on their cameras. Excuse me. Doesn't matter if you just woke up or turn on your camera. We have about more than 80 plus participants. So I'll be taking about 3 screenshots of us. So when I count back to 5, we'll take the first one. So you do your pose, and then I'll make 3 counts again for 3 times. All right. So we're going to do it now. I'm just waiting for everyone. All right, we'll take our first photo now. 3, 2, 1. Your widest smile, everybody. 3, 2, 1. All right, that was our first one. We'll go on to the second one now. Three, 2. It looks like people are still turning on their cameras. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. That was our second screenshot. And then we'll go on to the last one. Three, 2, 1. Naka, everybody. I think that's about it. Naka, Tika.
Thank you, Epteli. Let's take it on my computer watch. It's 10:43. If we can reconvene at 10 minutes to 11. Give us a bit of a break, and then we'll start again. So 10:50, I'm at 10:43. We'll take a short break, and then we'll move on to the second speakers.